Tell me about our farm and what you do there.
Yep, so our farm is a demonstration dairy farm which has been set up as a joint venture partnership between Lincoln University and St Peter's School up in Cambridge. So St Peter's have obviously got the school, they've got a surrounding dairy farm that they've always had since the school's been basically formed, so 75 years old. The joint venture was formed on the very successful Lincoln University demonstration dairy farm, so obviously looking at our main goal is to apply proven research utilising good on-farm practice to become an exemplar in dairy production, economic performance and environmental footprint. So it's reasonably ambitious. It's sort of, I guess, the trifecta of what all of the dairy industry is trying to achieve at the moment. Obviously production, profitability and sustainability, which is obviously a pretty critical one at the moment with changing legislation right throughout the country. So that's sort of the cusp of what we're trying to do there. We've got on some awesome industry partners, much the same as Lincoln University. So we've got Fonterra, LIC, PGG Rights and Seeds, Opus, Westpac, LIC and Dairy NZ. So awesome partners that are involved. They financially contribute to run the demonstration farm and are obviously very critical in providing the knowledge and the skills and the capabilities within their organisations to ensure we can develop an all-inclusive sort of a system which does encompass a sustainable, profitable farm system that we're all trying to strive for. So really, really good thing for the Waikato. There's not really much like it in the Waikato. There's a lot of research farms around, but as a demonstration farm, we're absolutely committed to providing, implementing proven research. And I think, in this day and age, there's a lot of farmers that have got a huge amount of anxiety with probably the volatility of the global marketplace and obviously some changing legislation environmentally. A lot of people are probably a little bit anxious around what the future holds, so it's really good to be able to provide hopefully some practical solutions which might be applicable to other people's farms around how they can become more profitable or sustainable. That's the gist of it, I guess.
How do you get your information out?
Yep, so we've got obviously our website which is up and running. We have a range of data that we collect on a weekly basis from the likes of milk production, animal health data, pasture production data, nitrogen and fertiliser use data. Obviously climatic is a big one for us in terms of what our growing conditions are like with being our system still predominantly pasture based. So we have that information which we gather weekly, which we upload to our website. We've got a lot of graphs and a lot of visual displays of how we present that information. Similarly to the Lincoln University Demonstration Dairy Farm, we have 4 focus days a year where we try and encourage as many of our sort of farming audience as possible to come along, and we, I guess, communicate different things that we're trying on farm, how we've gone about implementing them, what they mean for us, what the benefits are, what the negatives are, give them sort of, I guess, the whole range of that. We work really closely with a lot of our partners in terms of the rural professional organisation. Get a lot of them to come in. They use our facilities for meetings, so trying to encourage and educate some of those guys around what we're doing so that they can go forth and I guess spread that message throughout their farming networks. We have monthly newsletters which go out. Obviously Facebook, Twitter's about to be developed sometime pretty soon. That's our main area really around probably getting the message out there, but we are first year in, and for us a really big part of first year is getting that profile, getting that credibility and building a reputation. So that's really critical for us at the moment, and I guess we've been quite fortunate as well. We've got a really good relationship with the Waikato the Waikato Times, We've got an editorial column in their Waikato Farmer magazine, so those are all really good networks and avenues, I guess, for us to try and get this message out there.
How's the season been in the Waikato?
It's been a pretty challenging season, to be fair. It's certainly been a baptism of fire for me. I've come from an environmental background. I'm a 5th generation off a dairy farm in Rotorua that's been in the family for 5 generations. So the environmental sustainability of making sure that as an industry we can continue for a few more generations is really important to me. And growing up in that environment, obviously the cows and grass side of things, I've always been reasonably adept in having those conversations, but I've certainly learnt by getting thrown in the deep end with this season. Climate-wise, we've had a really difficult July and August. It's been really, really uncharacteristically cold and wet, and so as a result of that, we're probably 200 to 300 kgs of dry matter per hectare behind where we would like to have been. We made a bit of a strategic decision last year to pull our calving date back a week and a half because we've had some really, really good winter grass growth the last couple of years. So we wanted to harvest that quality while it was available. but then obviously this season happened, and it hasn't been too forthcoming in that sense. So it's been a bit challenging from the climatic perspective. Obviously the payout's been quite challenging as well, and we have had some staffing issues. Our long-serving farm manager had to resign due to heart issues, so that's been quite challenging, but I guess that's dairy farming, and it keeps it interesting. And certainly in a seasons like this when you've got climatic factors that are contributing to lower pasture production and therefore lower milk production, we're about 6% behind where we would like to be. And obviously low payout years, I think these kind of years it's as important as ever to hopefully have these demonstration farms where we can take a bit of that risk on that other farmers may not necessarily be prepared to do, and that we can then communicate back what we've done, what worked, what didn't work, so they can go home and obviously try it for themselves.
Big question. You going to make any money this season?
We will make a little bit of money, not a lot of money. We've sort of been in survival mode to a certain extent with obviously our employment, which is a big cost for our business, and we've had to be paying a bit of release staff at the moment, so that's sort of changing our budget a little bit, but we're probably reasonably fortunate. We might not have the same debt loading that a lot of other farms have got, so our working expenses are aren't too bad. They're below what they're around sort of that $3.60 to $3.80 mark, so we are making money in that regard. We do have debt, but maybe not the same amount of debt as what a lot of other farmers do have. So and I guess being a farm that is owned by the trust board, we don't have any drawings, so we're not really taking anything out of the farm from a personal perspective. So we will make a little bit of money, yes, but not a lot of money, no.
Now, you're tied up with a school. How big a tie-up is it?
Absolutely. So we're really fortunate to have the school involved, and sitting in the Waikato, sort of, I guess, the stronghold of New Zealand dairying long term. A lot of the actual school role do come from rural delivery addresses, so it's a really good way to be able to give back in that sense. But at the same sense, we hear a lot from government around the shortfall in young, skilled people coming into the primary industry sector, particularly dairy, which is obviously a really big earner for us. So it's a really good opportunity for us to be able to work with the students and, I guess, provide them some genuine opportunities around what happens on a farm, and obviously provide some career opportunities which they might not have necessarily considered previously. So we've already started working with the likes of obviously agriculture and horticulture, but geography, chemistry, biology, obviously the Business and Entrepreneurial Centre, so the economics, accounting, business studies, really, really important. IT, statistics, a really big grasp of the students, and just giving them some really genuine farm experiences, I guess, and as well as obviously the rural sector that comes to the school. There's a huge urban influence at the school, so it's a really good opportunity to hopefully try and encourage some of that probably urban-rural divide that's probably been coming around the last few years. So to be able to educate some of the urban students as well around what actually happens on farm and what we're trying to achieve is a really big positive of what we're trying to do. So I think so far that's been really positive, and really going to a great work in progress around how we can further integrate students into that farm and get them involved.